If your business has vendors which are categorized as micro enterprises or small enterprises as per the MSME Act, it is essential that you do not delay their payments. So what tantamounts to delay in payments? Either your payment terms are defined as a period by which you will make payments against their invoices, which could be less than 45 days, or a maximum of 45 days, which means if you have vendors which are micro enterprises, small enterprises, how do you define them? Micro enterprises are those which have a total investment in plant and machinery or equipment in their business of not over 1 crore or sales of not over 5 crore in a financial year. Both these conditions need to be fulfilled. And small enterprise is one where the investment in equipment and plant and machinery is not over 5 crores and their annual turnover is not over 50 crores, which means there's a huge chance, there's a high probability that your manufacturer and service provider vendors, remember traders are not covered here, manufacturers and service provider vendors or micro and small enterprises, you need to pay them in a maximum of 45 days. Now what happens if you don't pay them? They can actually approach the MSME website. Not having any legal knowledge, they can just go to the MSME website provided by the government and lodge a complaint by uploading the purchase order as well as the invoice and providing any kind of proof to say that you have not been making their payments on time. You will not only be liable to pay them the entire amount, but also liable to pay them a heavy amount of interest on top of it. The court may also impose some penalty on you. Now, if you run your business in the form of a company, which is a private limited, OPC, or a limited company, it is also important for you that on a half-yearly basis, which is by 30th April and by 31st October, you need to report to the government or the MCA through a form MSME 1 the number of your micro and small vendors who are unpaid on 31st March and 30th September beyond 45 days, which means you also need to ensure that on these two dates, 31st March and 30th September, you have no vendors left who are of the category of micro or small enterprises who are not paid for over 45 days. If there is any such list of vendors, you need to mandatorily report it to the government in form MSME 1. A huge number of companies have a lot of vendors who are unpaid beyond 45 days but do not file these forms. If the government does find out, there is also going to be penalty for non-reporting of this data. So please look that up. The first step for you would be, of course, to create a database of all your vendors where they can be categorized as micro, small, medium enterprises or large enterprises based on the definition given in the MSME Development Act 2006, which has also been modified last year in 2020. So look this up. This is an important exercise that most companies tend to just overlook or not devote enough time on, but please categorize your vendors in these categories and take necessary steps towards compliance.